Hey, what's going on? My name is Coach Lee Hopkins. My pronouns are he, him, his, and you're listening to the Patterns of Possibility podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to helping you replace harmful patterns with new possibilities. In each episode, we'll explore topics that inspire you to be yourself, live your truth, and make lasting connections. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the 3 strikes and you're out rule. 3 strikes, you're done. Generally, people come to me and they say, hey, how do I know when to let go of a friendship? How do I know when to let go of this? And I give them 3. I say 3 strikes. You do this once, you do this twice, you do this 3 times, and then we're done. But you want to be clear about what that one thing is that you cannot stand, that you wish that would be different, that you don't want to experience again. And if you know that and you tell them and they do not do it or they are not capable of changing, then you know it's time to let go. Let's talk about what that one thing might be for you. Maybe there are 2, 3, or 5 different things, but let's talk about how to identify it. Are you ready? Let's go. So I get this all the time. People will come to me and they'll say, look, when should I let go of this relationship? How should I? But what if? Maybe if they could change, or maybe they can do something. Let me be in love with the potential of the person. Let me work really hard because we've been friends for 5, 10 years. I can't let go, but I feel so exhausted. If that sounds like you, I've been there, so everything I talk about is from my own personal experience. If that sounds like you, then I know where you are. I know how that feels. You want some certainty. You want the ability to know whether or not this person is capable of supporting you the way you need, whether or not you can get over the guilt or the shame of letting go. Maybe there's some thing that you really, really, really like about them, and because you really like that thing about them, you tend to overlook the other things that aren't so pleasant. If that's you, I'm with you. I've been there, I've done that, and that's why I do what I do today. I talk about this stuff. So that's why I developed my 3 strike thing too. 3 strikes and you're done. That's it. And it's not done either. When I talk about it in my coaching program, is that there are these 5 levels of connection with people. So there's the stranger, there's the associate, there's the acquaintance, there's a friend, and then there's the close connection at the very top. I talk about those people, and I am talking about, when I say 3 strikes, you're out, I move you from one tier or one category to the next. So if you were higher up before, if you were a friend before, then congratulations, you are an associate now. And don't get it twisted, because you can also be a stranger. Because that's how I am with it. It's my time, it's my energy, and I don't have much of that. And especially when you get older, you've got obligations that stop you from just hanging out, whatever, just getting over some things and putting more time and energy into them, when you could be putting more time and energy into things that you really like and you really enjoy with your limited, being an adult, with your limited amount of time, right? So that's why I'm like, 3 strikes, you're out. 3 strikes, I'm going to move you. And when I say move you, I'm going to give you less time and less energy and less effort. And everybody's going to be happy because I'm happy. And if I'm not happy in a relationship or a connection with you, then you're not going to be happy. You know what I mean? So let's talk about how I discovered and how you might discover some of those things that frustrate you or that you want to be different. I'm going to talk about how this rule works, how I actually apply it to people. So first of all, in order to know what it is that you want from other people or how you want them to behave, you have to know what you want from others in the first place. You really have to do some self-discovery. You have to be able to understand what you want and what you don't want and be able to clearly and concisely share that with another person. So first step is knowing what you want from others. So based on your experience with your friend, your coworker, your business partner, family member, whoever it is, based on your experience with them, if you get one of those feelings, because everything I do is based on feelings too, you get that feeling that, oh, I don't like this. This doesn't feel good. I'm mad. I'm sad. Whatever that is, what you want to do is check what was the experience that you had. What did they do? What did they do and how you feel about that? Because that's the key to everything. What did they do? What was the experience and how did you feel about that? So now that you know what the experience is, you know how you felt about the experience, we want to spend a little bit of time trying to say what we do want instead. We have to do a bit of work, okay? We want to set the expectations for them. So what would you rather them do? So let's say you called them on the phone and you wanted to talk about your day and how frustrated you were about it, and you wanted them to listen, right? They hung up on you, or they said they were busy, or they said they would call you back and they never did. Whatever it is, identify the experience and then decide what you would rather have them do. Decide whether you want what you want them to do instead, because you need to know that, okay? You can't go to them and say, look, you didn't answer the phone, or you didn't talk to me, or you didn't call me back when you said you would, and then have it end right there. You have to give them a step to take. You have to give them a step to take, a request, actually. A request for them to do something different. You have to know what you want. You can't expect them to figure it out, because most people don't. They don't know what you want. They just think about themselves. They say everything's all right, no big deal. But you have to tell them, okay? So now you have these two things. You have your experience, you have how you felt about the experience, and it's not a good feeling. You have the thing that you want them to do instead. You want to take that to them. You're going to take it to them. You're not going to push it under the rug. You're not going to say it's not a big deal. You're not going to overlook it. Because if you do that, you're going to develop a relationship with them where you feel so much resentment towards them because they didn't do the things. You're counting, you're tallying up in your head. Every time you push it away, every time you're not talking to them, you tally it up. And furthermore, you demonstrate that you don't trust them with your real feelings. And that relationship cannot last. That can't be a strong, close connection like the ones I'm talking about. That's an associate. Those are people who don't care about your feelings. Those are people who you don't care to express your feelings to. So, now that you have this, you want to take it to them. You want to be very intentional about this conversation that you have with them. And you want to share exactly what I told you. You want to share the experience. You want to share how you feel about that. And you want to make a request. This is a request for change. A request for change. All right? And if your friend is accommodating, maybe they won't even notice that they hurt you or upset you. They didn't know how you felt. Boom. Problem solved. You're not sweeping anything under the rug. You're not hiding anything. You're not building any resentment. You tell them and they're like, oh, I didn't realize that you were so upset I didn't call you back. Man, I got super busy, and that's not an excuse, because I said that I would do something and I didn't do it and you were disappointed. That's the kind of friend that you want. That's what you're listening for. So they tell you that. Well, let's say they did tell you that. Boom, look, hey, I'm sorry. Next time I will call you right back. Next time I will pick up the phone. Next time I will make some time for you. And this isn't over. This is not over either. It's not over. Our little 3 strikes thing isn't over. That's 1 strike he got. That's 1 strike she got. That's 1 strike they got right there. They're like, hey, pay attention. I was really hurt by something that you did. And this is how you can fix it. You brought it to them, easy peasy. And they said, okay, I can do it. The next thing you're going to do is watch. Watch for it. Watch that same experience happen again and see what they do. You're watching for what they do. If they don't do the thing that you have discussed, strike 2. Now, it's not time to kick them out. It's not time to change and destroy their relationship. But I tell you what, it's not time for now. It's not time to push it under the rug. It's not time to sweep it under the rug and forget about it. You build resentment every single time you do that. Every single time you do that, if it hurts you, if it doesn't feel good to you, you sweep it under the rug, you build resentment. If it's important to you, you need to tell them about it, because what's important to you is also important to your close connections. It's important to your friends. So you share that with them. Hey, we had this conversation. Same style conversation. You come down calm and easygoing. You're not trying to force anything. You just let them know, hey, I was really hurt again. And remember how we talked about what you would do instead and you agreed to it? Bring it to their attention again, because nobody gets it on the first try. Like, many people just don't get it on the first try, right? We got our own patterns of behavior. We got our own things. We're thinking about ourselves. And sometimes we forget, okay? We forget new information. We have to practice it a few times. So here's the second time. You tell them again, this is really important to me. And they say, oh, yeah. I forgot. I know how important it is to you. I'm going to do it this time. Next time it happens, you can count on me. So guess what we're going to do? We're going to watch. Here's the experience again. Here are my feelings. And you didn't do it? Okay. Now we need to think a little bit here. This is where we come into a bit of conflict with ourselves. We're like, oh, well, I've known it for so long, and maybe I'm overthinking it, and maybe it's not a big deal. We're still going to go through with this, okay? Because if you backpedal now, you are going to build some resentment. Listen, you've already told them a few times, 1, 2, 3 times, this is what you need. This is what you want to create a healthy relationship, a dynamic. This is what they can do to not impact you in a negative way. You told them. And if it was important to them, they would do it. If they were capable of doing it, they would do it. Now the ball is your court. It's in your court. It's your decision. What are you going to do with this relationship? You can have another conversation with them. You can talk to them 10 times if you want to. I recommend 3 because you got to save your time and energy. But you can talk to him again and talk to him again. That resentment's going to build because you're going to feel like you haven't been heard. You're going to feel like they don't care. You're going to feel like it's not important to them, because if it was, they would do it, and you told them 10 times. 3 is enough. 3 is enough. So when the third time happens, you can talk about how your relationship is going to change. Like, look, I'm just not going to call you anymore. Or you can just not call them anymore. You can do whatever feels good and comfortable to you. But I generally like to tell people how I'm going to move. Especially if people are going to be in my life, I like to tell them how I'm going to move. But you can also consider that they didn't hear you the first few times that you told them about what you wanted, so they may not even care or be considerate of the fact that you're not going to talk to them as much anymore. Maybe they even prefer that, if you think about it that way. So whatever it is to you, the point is that 3 is enough. 3 is enough to be sure if someone is capable of doing the thing that you need, or they care to do the thing that you need. It's up to you to decide how you want them to be in your relationship. Don't give them all the power. Don't say, but you didn't do, but you said you would, but you're supposed to be my friend, and try to shame, blame, guilt, and embarrass them into doing the thing that you want them to do. Accept that they're not going to do it, and adjust based on what you want in your life. The number one reason people come to seek my help is not because they're struggling with relationships. It's something much deeper. They're really struggling to trust. They honestly believe that there's no one around that they can trust. And with good reason. They've been burned so many times. They've opened up to the wrong person. You see, close relationships require that you put your trust in someone, and trust requires vulnerability. And vulnerability is scary because, of course, you could get hurt. I get it. And I found that there's an art and a science to discovering who to trust. So to help you be vulnerable with less risk, I've developed a 3-step action plan to discover who deserves your trust. It's called strategic vulnerability. Strategic vulnerability has personally kept dozens of untrustworthy people at a safe distance from me, and I'm sure it will work for you too. If you'd like to learn more about how to apply this 3-step action plan to your life, let's have a friendly conversation. Go to patternsofpossibility.com to book your conversation today. Now it's time for your listener letters. If you'd like me to give you actionable steps to create more meaningful relationships with something that's happening with you in your life, you can write me at patternsofpossibility@gmail.com and I might read it here on the show. How do you always avoid becoming the therapist friend? What do I look out for? I don't know what else to write. I've had like 4 separate friendships fizzle out since graduating high school, and I think it's because I ended up being their therapist. I didn't realize it at first. I just noticed that I get burnt out because it would be the same issues all the time. And then I'd start slowly trying to avoid hanging out with them as often until they found someone and they stopped talking to me entirely. Now, although I try to be clear about my boundaries and I try to recommend actual therapists to tell people what I'm feeling, it doesn't really work. Even my boss has joked that I'm the workplace therapist. I don't think I'm a people pleaser, but I don't know at this point. I'm burnt out from everyone, and I'd like to just have one normal friendship where all we do is play video games and occasionally talk about traumas and life issues. How do I find people that I actually look forward to hanging out with? So, great question. That's like the thing I talk about, the therapist friend. That's that person that you're the listener, whoever it is. Like, one person is the listener. It's a very lopsided relationship where one person is just listening to all the problems and the traumas and the experiences that they've had, the issues, and they just keep saying it over and over and over again. And you, who is a therapist friend, you listen and you nod and you maybe give some helpful advice or feedback or insight, if that. And they get their cup filled, or they dump their stuff on you. More like that. They dump their issues, their problems on you, and you hold your arms out wide open and you're like, here, drop it on me. I'm really happy to have this. Thank you so much for your attention, even though it doesn't really feel great to hold this stuff, but this is a way I know to make friendships. So that's the therapist friend. And I used to be one of those people, and I used to dump on people too. I was on both sides of it. And if you're looking to break this, because it's really a lopsided friendship, like we pay people to hear our feelings, and then we don't ask anything about them. We don't need to know the therapist. Like, there are specific guidelines to prevent that kind of relationship, or a friendly, an equal relationship forming, because it's really difficult. There's one person is in a position of power. The therapist is in a position of power, and you want to keep them there with the money. You don't want them to talk about their life. You don't want them to talk about their traumas or anything like that. They're not supposed to talk about that to you. And when you create a therapist friendship, you do something like that, where you have your arms out, you're listening to everything that they're saying. They're complaining, they're upset about things, they boohoo stories, and you have your arms out, you're ready to hear everything that they have to say, just load you up with all that's going on. And there's no expectation of you to return anything. Like, you don't open up, you don't share what's important and interesting to you. And that's how you get to be the therapist friend. That's how you get to be the therapist friend. So it's a very lopsided relationship. One of you has all the power, it seems, and the other person doesn't. So if you're in this position and you want to break this, I like what this person had said about stating clear boundaries and recommending actual therapists. I mean, that's really great to do that. Like, deflect. Like, hey, I'm not here for this. I don't want to be here for this. And here's somebody else you can talk to. That's what a relationship, or a more balanced relationship would look like, is you not just listening, but you're also expressing your feelings about what's happening. Because remember, connection is that demonstration that somebody understands how you feel about your experiences. And if you're out here saying, look, I'm overwhelmed, I'm exhausted, I don't want to hear more of your stuff, I've got my own, here's a therapist you can talk to, and they don't hear you, they're not listening, they don't demonstrate that they understand how you feel, because if they did, then they would stop talking about this stuff. They would say, oh, my bad, I won't bring it to you, I'm going to go call that therapist that you mentioned. They won't bring it to you anymore, but they could care less. They could care less about your feelings. They can care less about what you're experiencing. So I just want to notice that dynamic right away. Be like, okay, you're not listening to me. You are not a friend. It's all my friends, all of your friends, understand how you feel about your experiences. And then they do something. They change their behavior. They adjust. Because if you say to them, look, this hurts, I'm overwhelmed, I'm exhausted, and they say too bad, and they dump more stuff on you, I wouldn't want to keep that person close. And I imagine that you wouldn't want to keep that person close to you either, because they just do not care. Furthermore, they don't have any curiosity about who you are. They don't have any. You're there for a reason, and only one reason, and that's for them to dump on you. So if you want to break that, to be more conscious of that pattern, be conscious of that behavior that's happening right there, noticing that they're just dumping things on you and not listening to you when you say, this is enough, I can't help you. Because in a healthy relationship, healthy friendship, a balanced friendship, you are able to share some of your deep stuff. You are able to share some of your pains, but that's not it. That's not the only thing you talk about. And so this friend that eventually went to look somewhere else to talk to somebody else about their issues because you avoided them, they weren't really your friend because they don't care about how you feel. So I would say good riddance to that. But in order to stop creating those kind of relationships, you got to show up. Like, you have to really have this sense of self. You have to have this sense of self and saying, look, this is what I want in my relationships. I want a friend who is going to talk about playing video games. That's your thing. I want them to experience something joyful together. So I talk about strategic vulnerability, and this is one of the ways that you use it. There's a myriad of ways to use it in relationships and friendships and connection to really open people up to see who they are and how they're going to treat you. But this is one of the ways. This is the basic one where you share something joyful and important to you, and you watch how people respond to you. And in this case, you're not listening to those things that they're saying. You stop them right there in their tracks. Look, we're not going to start a relationship off like this. I respect you. I like you. I want to get to know you. Let's talk about something fun. And you start talking about something that's fun. And you watch how they respond. If they roll their eyes and they walk away, then you have saved yourself a whole lot of trouble. You saved yourself a whole lot of trouble. So that sense of self is really going to help you here. What do you want? Say it to other people. That's boundaries. And then be vulnerable about how you feel. That's how you'll connect. Hey, thank you so much for listening. If you like this podcast, share with someone who you think could benefit from this information, and follow me on social media. You can find me at Patterns of Possibility on all social media, and I go live on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can catch me and learn more about these social connections and interact with other people who are looking for the meaningful connections, who share the same kind of stories, and be in community. And don't forget to sign up for my newsletter at patternsofpossibility.com, where you will get actionable steps delivered to your mailbox every week. Thanks again for listening. Until next time, take care.